If someone asked me what turned my freshman year of college into the moment my whole damn life tilted sideways, not the all-nighter I pulled for Intro to Philosophy, not the time I cried over a deadline, I just shake my head. The real game changer was one random fall afternoon when the door to dorm room 214 swung open and Arden walked in. I'm Nova Hale, freshman communications major at a small private college in the Northeast. The campus sits in this picture-perfect old New England town where fall actually looks like the postcards. Red maples on fire, chilly morning fog, the permanent smell of coffee drifting out of every indie cafe. I thought college was going to be some chill coming-of-age indie movie. Then my roommate happened. Arden showed up dragging a navy suitcase, long brown hair half hiding her right eye, and the tiniest smile, like she'd trained herself to keep every emotion on low battery. Tall, skinny, quiet in that old money, East Coast repressed kind of way. Sharp cheekbones, fragile edges. "Hi, you must be Nova?" Her voice was soft, a little raspy, like she'd just gotten over a cold or a red-eye flight. "Yeah, guess we're roommates." I tried to play it cool, but my heart did this stupid skip thing the second our eyes met. Which was ridiculous. We'd known each other for all of 3 seconds. The room was tiny but cozy. 2 low beds, 2 wooden desks, 1 big window looking out at maple trees doing their autumn thing. Arden picked the bed on the right. I noticed her hands shaking a little when she lifted the suitcase onto the frame. Something was off. Subtle, but I clocked it. We started unpacking. I kept sneaking glances while folding my hoodies. She didn't talk much, but it wasn't standoffish. It was more like she'd spent her whole life being told to take up less space. Half an hour in, she sat on the edge of her bed, arms wrapped around her stomach, breathing weird. "You okay?" I asked. She nodded too fast. "Just tired. Mild anemia." "I'm fine." Except she was ghost pale and sweating. Definitely not fine. "I'm grabbing water." "Stay put." When I turned away, this ache punched me in the chest. We'd been roommates for 60 minutes? And I already wanted to protect her like it was my job. Maybe because she looked breakable. Or maybe because of the way she was trying so hard not to be a burden to a total stranger. That night she got worse. Low fever, flushed cheeks, shallow breaths. I reached for my phone to call campus health. No, please," she rasped, grabbing my wrist. "I've been through this before. I just need sleep." Her eyes were begging. Asking for help felt like defeat to her. I sighed. "You don't have to be tough around me, you know." For a second her mask slipped, like I'd accidentally brushed an old bruise. I got a warm washcloth, made ginger tea. Under the yellow desk lamp she curled up under the blanket, damp hair sticking to her red cheeks. I touched her shoulder to check if the fever was breaking, and she opened her eyes and looked at me like she already trusted me. "Erect me." "Thanks, Nova," she whispered. 2 words. That's all it took for warmth to flood every cold corner of that evening. I'd never taken care of anyone like that. Especially not someone I barely knew. But right then she didn't feel like a stranger. Something clicked, fast and scary natural. When she finally fell asleep, I sat there listening to the wind rattling the windows, and room 214 suddenly felt smaller, warmer, like it already belonged to both of us. I didn't have a name for what I was feeling yet, but it sure as hell wasn't just roommate vibes. It was a crush. And probably the start of a whole lot of trouble, because this country still has plenty of people who think 2 girls falling for each other is a sin, a phase, or a fast track to getting disowned. I knew that. I'd watched friends get slurs shouted at them, get ghosted, get kicked out. Never thought I'd be the one living the story. But watching Arden sleep, finally breathing steady, I told myself it was just normal roommate concern. Deep down I knew I was full of shit. Because when the desk lamp lit up her face, something dangerous sparked inside me. Something I wasn't sure I was brave enough to follow through on. Love sometimes starts tiny. For me, it started with putting a warm washcloth on a stranger's forehead in room 214. She felt better the next day, but better was clearly relative. Faint shadows under her eyes, random pauses to catch her breath. I noticed everything, and it scared me how much I noticed. Arden acted like nothing happened. Next morning I woke up to her already at her desk, legs crossed, hair in a low ponytail, highlighter moving through the comm theory syllabus like a woman on a mission. The room instantly felt warmer. Maybe I was falling way too fast. "I thought you'd sleep in," I mumbled, rubbing my eyes. She glanced over with that barely there smile that made me want to close the distance between our beds. You were out cold. Didn't want to wake you. I wouldn't have minded. I was worried you'd faceplant in the middle of the room. She laughed soft wind chime laugh. I'm not that fragile. But I saw how tight her fingers gripped the textbook. Not nerves. Exhaustion. I let it go. Pushing felt cruel. But quietly I made a promise. She wasn't gonna have to tough it out alone anymore. The days blurred together in that weird college way. Slow when you're in it, lightning fast when you look back. Classes, group projects, 3-hour lectures that made me want to claw my eyes out. But every day I counted down until I walked back into 214 and saw Arden at her desk under the golden lamp glow. We started talking. Really talking. She was from a small town 4 hours away. Everyone knows everyone, and anything outside the norm is gossip fodder for years. No wonder she kept herself wrapped up tight. I grew up in a louder, more mixed city where my parents shrugged at pride flags. That doesn't mean I didn't get it. Half this country still side-eyes queer kids like we're a glitch. One night over instant ramen she said, I always thought if anyone back home found out I liked girls, I'd be the town disgrace. Now? I asked. She stirred her noodles like they'd done something wrong. Still terrified. I haven't told my parents. They'd lose it. The dorm was quiet except for the wind. Steam rose between us. I get it, I said. She looked up, fragile and testing. Do you? Yeah. I nodded. I dated a girl junior year of high school. It was short. When word got out, some friends didn't outright hate me, they just went cold. Distant. And I started shrinking myself. Something softened in her eyes, like another lock just clicked open between us. Those conversations didn't just bring us closer. They tilted my whole heart toward her in a way I knew I shouldn't let happen. Another night she was curled by the window in a blanket, coughing quietly. Still weak from that first fever but hiding it like a pro. I'm getting you cough syrup tomorrow, I said. You don't have to. Stop saying that. I cut her off. I want to. She startled, then gave me this helpless little smile. Are you always this aggressively caring? No, I admitted. Only with people who matter. The air went perfectly still. She turned, eyes wide, lamplight catching in her brown irises. She looked fragile and devastatingly beautiful at the same time. Nova. I panicked and looked away. I just worry, okay? Half lie. I wasn't ready to go further. Not because I was scared of rejection, because I knew she carried so much damage that one wrong move and she'd fold in on herself like a scared bird. Later that night she stood by her bed holding the ginger tea I'd made her. Thank you for being here, she said quietly. We're roommates. No, Nova. She shook her head. Thank you for not making me feel broken. Or wrong. That hit me square in the sternum. You're not wrong, Arden, I whispered. You never were. The silence that followed was so thick I could hear my own pulse. If I'd taken one step closer, we would have kissed. I didn't. She didn't. We weren't ready. But the space between us was shrinking, breath by breath, late night talk by late night talk. And soon we wouldn't be able to pretend this was just friendly anymore. Week 3 of the semester was classic American college chaos. Endless readings, discussion sections that swung between pretentious and hostile. But in the middle of it all, the thing I looked forward to every single day was Arden. Living together you learn the tiny things no one else ever sees. She ties her hair up when she's focused. Eats painfully slow like every bite needs a committee vote. Twists the silver ring on her index finger when she's stressed. And for all her soft vibes, she's stubborn as hell about being fine. But the longer we lived together, the more I realized. She was a lot less fine than she thought. One night I came back from a group project to find her curled up on her bed, moonlight slicing across her paper white face. She was trembling, quiet, practice trembling. Arden, what's wrong? She tried to smile, it looked like tissue paper. Just cramps. I'm okay. You're shaking. She turned away. I'm used to it. I hated that phrase. Hated that she was used to suffering alone. I dragged my desk chair over. You don't have to be. Long silence. Then so quiet I almost missed it. I'm scared if people know how often I'm sick. They'll think I'm weak. Annoying. Unlovable. My heart cracked open. Who the hell made you believe that? She gave this bitter half laugh. Nobody had to say it. I saw it in their eyes growing up. Always the kid who needed help. Never strong enough for my parents. So you pretend you don't need anyone. Yeah. I looked at her for a long time. You can be weak in front of me, Arden. Her whole body flinched like I'd touched a live wire. No one's ever said that to me before, she whispered. They should have. Starting now, I'm saying it. The room went so quiet I could hear the maple leaves scratching the window. Her eyes glistened, not crying, just overwhelmed. I reached out and rested my hand on hers. She didn't pull away. Not even a little. After that, the closeness crept in like groundwater, quiet but unstoppable. We cooked in the communal kitchen, split pints of peanut butter ripple ice cream, stayed up studying to lo-fi with the volume barely on. Some nights she fell asleep at her desk and I draped my hoodie over her shoulders. Some nights I was losing my mind over a paper and she slid a bar of chocolate across the desk without a word. But her eyes said, I've got you. We never labeled it. We didn't have to. It was obvious. One Friday night we were cleaning the room and she suddenly said, next week there's a Queer Alliance panel. Would you? Come with me. Of course. Thought you hated public stuff like that. She fidgeted. I do. But I want to try. Just not alone. You never have to do it alone. I answered so fast it surprised both of us. She looked at me for a long beat, eyes shining. Thank you. The panel was in the big auditorium. Rainbow flags, nervous freshmen, upperclassmen with pronoun pins. I felt Arden tense the second we walked in. Shoulders up by her ears, death grip on her tote bag strap. I'm right here, I murmured, brushing my fingers across the back of her hand. She took a shaky breath and nodded. They talked about coming out, family rejection, the right to love whoever the hell you want. A junior told the story of her parents banning her from coming home because she was dating a girl. Arden's hand started trembling in mine. What are you thinking? I whispered. That could be me one day, she said, voice cracking. I'm terrified of losing them. I didn't push. I just threaded our fingers together, gentle but locked. She stared at our joined hands like she couldn't believe it was real. Like someone was finally standing in the fire with her. Nova, she breathed. Yeah. Thank you for not leaving me behind. I turned. For once she didn't look away. Her brown eyes were wide open, honest, and so full of something that looked a lot like love. Even if she hadn't said it yet. My heart was banging so hard I was scared she could hear it. If I'd leaned in right, then we would have kissed in front of half the Queer Alliance. But the moderator changed topics, Arden startled, and yanked her hand back like she'd been burned. We still hadn't kissed. But the space between our mouths, between our lives, was down to one exhale. It was only a matter of time. After the panel things felt different, softer, deeper, impossible to hide. We never talked about the almost kiss or the hand-holding. Just hovered there, electric. Then came the rainy night, everything cracked open. Arden had been off all day, pale, spacey. Walking out of class she had to lean against the wall to breathe. You're going back to the room. Now, I said, no room for argument. I can push through. I grabbed her hand. Please. Listen to me for once. For the first time she didn't fight. Just nodded. It started pouring on the walk back. Fat raindrops soaked her hoodie, plastered her hair to her face. Without thinking I shrugged off my jacket and threw it over her shoulders. By the time we got inside she was burning up again. Shivering, flushed, breathing too fast. I'm getting a cold cloth. Don't leave, she rasped, catching my wrist. I'm literally 3 feet away. She shook her head, tiny painful movement. Stay. Please. I sat on the edge of her bed. She leaned into me, head on my shoulder, fever radiating through her t-shirt. My heart was in my throat. Where does it hurt? How bad? It hurts less than feeling like I'm a burden to you. Arden. I cupped her cheek, made her look at me. You are not a burden. I'm here because I want to be here. Not because I have to. Her eyes welled. I'm not used to people actually wanting me around when I'm like this. Then let me be the first. The rain hammered the window. Her face was so close I could feel every shaky exhale on my neck. Tell me the truth, Nova, she whispered. Why are you so good to me? I was done dodging. Because I'm in love with you. Silence. Just rain. She stared like I'd ripped the last page out of the script she'd been following her whole life. I don't know if I deserve. Stop. My voice came out sharper than I meant. You deserve to be loved, Arden. You deserve someone who sees every cracked, scared, stubborn, beautiful part of you and stays anyway. Her lips trembled. Are you staying? I'm right here. She didn't answer with words. She lifted her hand, brushed my fingers, then slowly, carefully, slid her fingers between mine like she was testing if her heart would shatter from the contact. I leaned in. She didn't pull back. I leaned closer. She closed her eyes. When our lips met, it was soft, trembling, barely there. But it carried every unsaid thing. Fear, want, years of being told she was too much and not enough at the same time. It wasn't a movie kiss. It was a confession. When she wrapped her arms around my neck, I felt every wall she built come crashing down. We pulled apart just enough to breathe. She rested her forehead against mine. I'm scared, she whispered. If my family finds out, if the town finds out, they'll never forgive me. I know. I smoothed damp hair off her face. But you won't face it alone. I don't want you dragged into my mess. I don't care about the mess. I care about you. The tiniest smile, real radiant mine. Nova, if I'm weak, will you still stay? I'll stay when you're weak, when you're strong, when you're terrified, when you're furious. I'm here because I choose you. Her eyes fluttered shut and a tear slipped down. Fever or feeling didn't matter. Broke me open. Then, she breathed, let me choose you back. I pulled her into my arms and held on like the world might rip her away the second I let go. We didn't say anything else. We didn't need to. From that rainy night on, the space between us was gone. Just two hearts, one unspoken promise, and the quiet terror that this love might have to fight the entire world. But at least we'd found each other. And for the first time, that felt like enough. After that night, everything shifted. Not cinematic, not dramatic. Just warm, real hours. The next morning, she still had a low fever. I woke up to her watching me with the softest look I'd ever seen. Morning, I croaked. Morning. Tiny smile. So we definitely kissed last night, right? Several times, I said. Zero regrets. She blushed crimson but didn't hide her face like usual. Just kept looking at me like she was memorizing this moment in case it disappeared. Nova, I need to know it wasn't just because I was sick and you felt bad. I sat up, took her hand. I've been in love with you for weeks. Before the fever. Before everything. Her eyes shimmered. Then, she took a shaky breath. I'm in love with you too. It was the softest sentence anyone had ever said to me, and it hit like a freight train. But loving each other didn't magically fix the world. A few days later, the rumors started flying. Dorm gossip moves at light speed. Someone saw me half carrying her when she almost passed out on the stairs. Someone else saw us holding hands at the panel. Suddenly the story was Nova and Arden are secretly dating. That night she came back to the room looking like she'd seen a ghost. They cornered me in the lounge, she choked out. Told me I was just some clingy small-town girl latching onto someone better. That if my parents found out they'd drag me home. Rage flashed cold down my spine. Arden, look at me. I cupped her shoulders. You are not clinging. You are not less. Fuck them. Her eyes were red. But what if it gets back home? What if I lose everything? I pulled her into me. Then we'll figure it out together. You're not losing me. She buried her face in my shoulder, shaking with held-back sobs. Why does loving you feel so terrifying? Because it matters, I whispered into her hair. Anything that matters is terrifying. She was quiet for a long time. Then she looked up, eyes still wet but clearer. Nova, if I love you out loud, will you still be here when it gets ugly? I'm terrified too, I admitted. But I'm still choosing you. She stared at me like she was standing on the edge of a cliff. And then she jumped. She took my hand. No shaking. No hiding. I want to be with you, she said, every word deliberate. We decided not to go public. Not because we were ashamed, but because she needed time. I respected that. But the people who mattered started noticing anyway. We ate lunch together every day. Saved each other seats in lecture. Walked across campus with to-go cups of tea like it was the most natural thing in the world. One of our classmates literally yelled, "You two are married, just admit it." Arden turned the color of a stop sign. I just grinned so hard my face hurt. At night we pushed our dorm beds together, against like 12 housing rules, and she'd trace lazy circles on my palm and ask, You think we're gonna be okay? I rolled over to face her. As long as you want in, my door's open. She smiled, the real one that wrecked me every time. I want in. A month later, her health stabilized. She laughed more. Opened up more. One evening on the front steps watching the sunset, she said, "Someday I want to be brave enough to tell my family. I'll be right there when you do." She turned eyes soft. I know. And that makes everything feel smaller. The fear. I rested my head on her shoulder. You're braver than you think. She squeezed my hand. And I love you, Nova. The sunset painted her cheeks gold, and I knew I was never going to be the same. I love you too. We both knew the road ahead was going to suck sometimes. Family, judgment, old ghosts, new rumors. But we also knew we wouldn't have to walk it alone anymore. And sometimes that's enough to keep going. I laced my fingers tighter through hers and watched the sun sink behind the campus rooftops. In this huge, loud, messy country, we'd found each other. And we'd found a love worth fighting for.